Hi, Aman. I'm going to talk through another task which I've been doing up until now, and moving forward I'll get you to do it, and it's to do with the markers and how they zoom in. So just quickly to start with, I'm just going to refresh my cache, and I'm going to reload the demo page. Like that, and then I'm going to log in. I'm just showing you these steps because there is an issue with the WP member plugin, the membership plugin, conflicting with WordPress login. And while I could pay a developer to get that fixed, I will do that after we launch and we know that we're making money. So at the moment, after you may know this, after you clear your cache, log in here, and then once you've done that, then log in to WordPress, and that will ensure that everything works okay. So I'll just log in again. I may need to refresh this page as well, so I'll just reload. Okay. Now, if I come down to, where are we? Still loading in. Come into the map, and I'm going to talk you through. Okay, so the map markers that you've done for Lamington and Springbrook, essentially when you click the zoom in button, there is a setting that we're going to do which enables it to zoom to different levels depending on how close these markers are. Like, for instance, Lamington, that's probably about 50 kilometers. If we went to Kakadu, it's 200 kilometers wide, the markers. So that requires a different zoom level for the markers to zoom in. Essentially, we need to get the zoom level right for mobile devices and a small screen, which is the sort of like the minimum requirement. So anyway, I'll just do it and you'll understand what I mean. So to start with, in this square box, I'm going to try and position this is how I do it anyway. I'm going to position the space in between this marker and this marker so that visually it is the same. And then this is the leftmost marker and this is the rightmost marker. And I'm going to get the space here and here the same as well. And yeah, it looks to be about the same. It's just an eyeball thing. So now that essentially we have centered all of these markers within this frame, we then have to visualize a crosshair in the middle of this box, which is going to be about, about there. Now, I would like to click there and get the GPS coordinates, but at the moment, this marker is right in the way. So what I'll do is I'll just zoom in a little bit and then zoom in again, and then I'll come to about there because that's where about it was. And I'll click and I've got my GPS coordinates. So I go and copy that. And now I need to enter that into the zoom lat long for these markers. So I'll just pause the video and I'll come back with that all done. So I've gone ahead and done that now, so that the zoom lat long is in the satellite markers and it's also in the region marker. Now the next thing to do is to the zoom level for these markers. So what we do is, at the moment, if I click on these, it's set to 9 at the moment. Now if I come over to a map and inspect it, and then go to the responsive design mode, try that again. There we go. Okay, so I've got it set to 320 by 568. That's what I consider to be the minimum screen size at the moment for most modern phones that don't have Retina to display, the base model phones. So at that level, if I come over, and I'm going to need to go to, oh sorry, I'm in the front end of the website. For some reason, responsive design mode does not let me hover. How do you? Just give me 1 second and I'll get this back on track. Okay, so when I did these, I was actually using my my phone, which is this screen resolution. So just bear with me. The way to do it with responsive design mode is to just click out of it, click out of responsive design mode, so that we get our cursor, and then come over to Lamington. Just come back a bit. Okay, so I've got zoom in now. So if I click zoom in, we know that that is zoom level 9, because that was what we set these satellite markers to, zoom level 9. Now I'll go to responsive design mode, and I'll click the plus. So that's 10, 11, 12. 12 looks good. So we can see that all the markers are clearly within the screen here. So 12 is good. If we went to 13, it's no good for people when they zoom in. They need to be able to see all the markers. 12 is quite zoomed in. It's just lucky that the screen here is portrait, and so it's long in this axis, and the markers are also like that. Sometimes if the markers were going this way, you would need to zoom it out more to have them all in. But for this one, 12 is good. I'm not worried about about phones being in this orientation. Most people aren't going to be looking at a phone like that. They're going to be looking at the phone this way. So this is what we are going to be designing for as the minimum requirement. So we've got our zoom level of 12, and then it just needs to be added to all of these markers. So we change this to 12, and I'll come back and when that's done. Okay, so I've updated those values to 12, and now when I come to the map and zoom in, we can see that it's zoomed in much closer. And if I click responsive design mode, we can see that all the markers are visible within the frame. And it appears that I could possibly go back and change the zoom to value, the GPS coordinate, because there's a little bit of space here and more space here. I think left and right, I got that okay, but I could possibly move these markers all up a little bit, so where it zooms to. And that's essentially it. So to finish with, what I might get you to do is just fix the zoom lat long on these markers so that it's exactly in the center of that, not exactly, but closer than what I had it in the responsive design frame. And I'll get you to do Springbrook, if that's okay, so that you can apply this video so that you understand and you remember the concepts here, because moving forward, doing this will be a part of setting up the markers. So yeah, if there's any questions, let me know. But otherwise, I'll leave it over to you, and talk to you soon. Thanks, Armin. Cheers.